YouTube, the final frontier. These are the live streams of the channel Captain McKay Random. Its continuing mission? To explore strange new action figures, to seek out new hobbies and new conversations, to boldly stream where no one has streamed before.
Well, here we are again. Another Wednesday, another swig of beer for the working man, and another Captain's Log stream. That's right. I saw some people already leaving comments. That's what I like to see. People already just interacting. Beautiful stuff we've got. WCW versus the World playing. Oh, yeah. I love that opening track. It's awesome. What do we got here? I did see, actually, Bash posted up above. You can fit 5.5 Captain's Log streams into one WrestleMania 35. 7.5, I think, if you count the pre-show. Hey, I close this door real quick. Just keep any outside noise to a minimum if we can help it. What's going on? We got Logan, Eddie, Space Case, a guy named No Yuge. Let's see. Gato Pero. Don't mess up my tempo. Joseph Miga. There he is. I did not watch WrestleMania, although I've heard... Let me just bust... This might be loud. Sorry, I got to mess with the microphone. There we go. I didn't watch it. I heard it was actually pretty good, though, in spite of being, 11 hours long or whatever it was. I do intend to go back and check some of it out, especially because Seth Rollins beat Brock Lesnar, and that just makes me so happy. Let's see. What's up, Camo Films? Gato Pero. How come the music volume in my video was low? It should be louder for the atmosphere of an arena. Are you talking about the entrance music? I don't remember. Maybe I just didn't mix it that well. Let's see. Bash says, took me 3 days to watch WrestleMania. Not everyone needs to be on the show. Give me quality over quantity. 100%. That's the thing. Like, I don't know. I've been reading, like, people getting all upset because they're, like, not on the show or they're not in a high enough place on the show. I'm like, you don't need to be on the show at all. Like, look at some of the previous WrestleManias that are considered like the best. Not everybody on the roster is on the show because not everybody on the roster is the best. Speaking of the best, I know we all saw this, but here we go. What do you think of this? Is Bret the Hitman Hart? Was this the Ultimate Series 2 figure? Damn. I'm excited. This is the first time I've actually seen this figure look like Bret Hart actually looks. I think it's because of the face printing technology or whatever they do. And there's also this basic one that I saw too, which I believe is just the Defining Moments head, but because of the face printing, like paint, like whatever it is they're painting on the face, it looks 100% better than that stupid Defining Moments head. So I'm totally on board. Gonna be getting both of those without a second's hesitation. Logan Doughty. Yes, I did get that new Gambit, and he is very... see if I can pull him up over this without knocking everything over. Sitting in front of this shelf today, because behind what the camera doesn't see is the Rite of Passage arena that got torn down and it's in shambles. But yeah, this is Revoltech Gambit. And as with Revoltech, very posable, really cool, fun to mess with. You sacrifice aesthetic, figure like appearance, I guess, for the amount of posability you get. But if you are down with that, that's fine. Try and get him back up there without knocking anything out. Oh yeah, Joseph Miga. Yep. Bret Hart getting attacked by some guy while doing his induction speech. This is just... Sometimes people just piss you off. And I did see Bash actually make a good point above that fans should be banned from the Hall of Fame. I'm, totally with you on that. Fans... There's certain things that shouldn't need fan interaction. Like... Was it the old Slammies? It was just like the roster and like the producers and the like people behind the show was there. You didn't have like fans, if I recall. I might be mistaken, but you don't need to sell out an arena for a Hall of Fame ceremony that has nothing to do with any of the fans in attendance. So I don't know. First time I've seen this figure, says Bash. Looks like SummerSlam 94. I couldn't remember if it was SummerSlam or Royal Rumble. I don't know 100%, but it's definitely like 94. And I know he wore it on Raw a few times. I think he fought 1-2-3 Kid in that gear. And yeah, Bash, I'm with you. I was hoping for Survivor Series 96, but still looks really good. Yeah, definitely. Trevor Sisk, what's going on? Nightcore Hitman. I did see Disney and Fox are merged. I'm waiting to see what that means going forward for X-Men and like Deadpool and all those movies and stuff going on. Zombie says, I canceled my pre-order on that Gambit after the Foosh review. Did they not like it? What happened? Like, what did they say that made you decide you didn't want it? Just not feeling it? Oh, well, I guess you answered before I could ask. Harry Flynn got Eric Young, Nikki Cross, and Trish Stratus figures last week. Is there a new Trish Stratus, or is that one of the old ones that you got? Joseph Miga. Oh, James Campbell, yes. I'll be by tomorrow. I want to get out there and make something new, maybe, hopefully tonight. So, we'll see. So Joseph Miga, back to your point. They just like had it set up in a ring, and it was like in the middle of an arena. Like there was no stage, there was no like anything like that. So, I mean, security basically, instead of like just looking at the front of a stage, now had to look like around the entire ring. So you're basically doubling the amount of security you're probably going to need. Either that or just paying the same amount of guys half the money and just going whatever. But yeah, it was a bad setup. It's a bad situation. And, glad it was no real big deal after it was all said and done. I'm glad he got punched in his face. And, maybe next time, do better. Be better. Stop letting idiot WrestleMania fans in the arena when you're just doing, like, a Hall of Fame. Predatorius, what's up? Space Case, who would I like to see in the Ultimate Elite line? Late 90s HBK would be sick. Yeah, I would love an Undertaker. Let's see. The Rock would be cool because you could give him like different heads. Like he could have like his like long sideburns and kind of like longer hair a little bit on the top. He could have like his shaved head from like 2001 with like the little pointy sideburns. You got some options. Bash, absolutely zero reason for fans to be at the Hall of Fame. They have a history of being disrespectful, rude, and now they're attacking Bret Hart. That's the thing, especially that New York City like WrestleMania weekend crowd. Even Raw, like every time you watch Raw after WrestleMania, the fans are always just there to basically disrupt the show. And it's like, why do you pay all that money to go and just not pay attention to the thing that you paid to get into? I don't understand that. But there's times I don't understand wrestling fans in the whole. And, as a wrestling fan myself, I guess a moderate wrestling fan these days, I look at some of these people and I'm just shaking my head like, what is the deal? I don't know. Zombie was watching G1 Supercard instead of the Hall of Fame. I've heard that was pretty good too. Was that? No, the G1 was something different. I heard that like Enzo and Cass did a run in on like some Ring of Honor show, and like it was looking like it was a shoot at first, but it turns out they're signed with a company or some kind of thing. I don't know. Like why Enzo and Cass are still even employed by anybody is beyond me, but. If I remember the Elite 18 Undertaker based on 03, they should do a remake of it in the Elite line. Are you talking about the Ultimate line? An Undertaker would fit very well with that, especially if you're doing the swap out gloves, because you could have like an early Undertaker. You can give him like, the long coat arms. You could give him like different, swap out purple and gray gloves if you had the chance, like maybe boots too. A few different head sculpts. I don't know. I think that could be cool. Let's see. I know I missed something I wanted to speak on up here. Oh, Zombie saying the Gambit review, you weren't feeling it. Well, I mean, if you're not into it, that's nothing I can tell you that's going to change your mind, I guess. I personally really like the figure. I haven't been able to really stop messing with it, but, if it ain't your flavor, that's just what it is. Dylan Oliver says, I am the best at stop motion. Well, thank you. I'm far from the best, but I do appreciate the praise regardless. Oh, wait a minute, Bash. This is news to me. A new Sega Genesis mini console actually being made by Sega instead of third party. Wow, okay. That's That's really cool. I didn't know that was even coming. Is that do they have like a game listing out for that yet? Because that's what's gonna kind of make it or break it for me. Because there's so many good Sega games, but I know on those third-party ones, they'll give you usually like Sonic 1 and 2, but none of them ever have 3 and Knuckles. So I haven't played those games in forever. I'd be curious. God, yeah, there's a lot of potential. Toe Jam and Earl, get that right on there, even though that just came out in that anniversary collection, but still. Will we see another moment like you did in the past with Wolverine where he constantly said unsubscribe? I'm sure he's not done being annoying. Yeah, I haven't used him in a while for any of those videos like that. That's my own fault, though, is because I've been animating like longer like wrestling videos and then not really doing the shorter ones in between, which I want to get back to doing that because, you know, I just like people on my channel to remember that I'm alive. And, you know, the live stream helps, but I'd rather get more animations put up, too. Kaimo Films. Revoltech, Batman, and Deathstroke are ones that I'm interested in getting. Batman's cape makes me not want to get it because Magneto's cape is terrible, and I'm still waiting on a cloth cape that I'm just waiting to buy one, honestly. But the figures themselves look nice. Deathstroke especially, I actually really like the look of him. But for Revoltech, I'm basically just focusing on X-Men. But the Deathstroke definitely does look nice. Okay. Yep, Sega announced it. 40 games, only 10 listed so far, and comes with 2 3-button controllers. Okay, so they're going to need to make sure they have the original inputs for the old controllers. I think the NES Classic did, maybe? Or am I thinking of the Retron? Because the Retron definitely does. But, because I have a 6-button Sega controller, like a reproduction one, but it's, it works on the Retron, so if that works for this, I'm on board. Let's do it. Remember when he broke me out of prison? Yeah. Oh my god, Bloodlines is on there? Oh, Bash, swig a beer for you, my friend. Let me tell you about some Castlevania Bloodlines. I don't know that much about it, because I never played it. But this, I might have to bust this out. This Sega Genesis collection. And it has Toe Jam and Earl, so it's like already worth its asking price. Let's see. Nightcore Hitman, your stop motion pay-per-view where you had Mankind versus, I want to say, Raven. I still watch to this day constantly. That was the first big pay-per-view I ever did like that. I mean, I'd done matches before that, but one night only. That's what started it all. NES Classic did not have original ports. Oh, damn. Okay, I'm thinking of the Retron then. Yeah, Kaimo Films. I remember all the harassment. Zombie says, I think the problem is Ring of Honor is listening to Bubba Ray too much. He suggested in a Chris Jericho podcast they hire more wrestlers to stand out. And by that, he meant bigger names. Is that why they're not getting like the quality talent? They're getting just end zone cast and whatever we can scrape off the bottom of somebody's shoe. One night only is what made me keep coming back here. Well, in that case, lasted more than one night. Machine Dragon Nero was thinking about being a volunteer firefighter. It's a lot going into that, but if you're willing to go through it all, by all means. I mean, you know, the world needs more people that are willing to like help others. Speaking of helping others, I'm going to do it my own way, in a completely self-indulgent way. Let's peep this promo package, huh?
I don't give a damn what anybody thinks of me! All hail the Ayatollah of rock and roller! Just in case you think that you can bring me down, I want you to remember one thing.
The only thing that matters is the fact that every single Jerichoholic wants to see the championship around my waist.
The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, lays down for absolutely no one.
You are forced to respect just how good Chris Jericho is.
The next time you see me, my super kick is gonna be 1 foot down your throat. This is as close as you'll ever get.
I'm not Shawn Michaels. I'm better.
The Heartbreak Kid is a survivor. Survivor.
Just got a little bit of a chill there. Let me tell you, that match, I'm closing in on being done with that. So you're going to be seeing some announcements or something like that pretty soon. I won't botch the premiere, I promise. By the way, who was in the premiere? Anybody in the chat see that? I'm trying to remember specifically because the way the premiere worked, I set it up like wrong, and I premiered it pretty much right when I uploaded the video, and I was like, whoops, well, I guess we're premiering this in the middle of the night. Didn't mean for that. I just woke up, and this is what I see. Very cool. Thank you, Nick. Y2J took many sweet chin music. Yeah, honestly, like when I was going back through all the old videos, I'm like, he gets super kicked a lot. Like he got it on Warzone, he got it like really early on in one of my older videos, he got it on like right after his match in Collision, like he got beat up at the Super Tiger show. There was no super kick, but he got hit with the belt and like all this other stuff. I'm like, damn, poor Jericho. Needs Corey and Sean to do a run-in wearing Vader masks to make any childhood come full circle. Oh, my childhood, sorry. Well, any childhood I think applies, but oh man, who? You'd have to get in touch with like NECA or somebody to make those like Boy Meets World retro style figures. They'd be on board probably. If anybody's gonna do it, it would be NECA. Just, that premiere was at damn midnight. Yeah, I didn't I didn't mean. See, what I did was, what I usually do is I'll upload a video unlisted, and then I'll take care of all like the end screens and the little like links and stuff that you can click at the end, and then I'll make it public. Problem is, you can't do a premiere if you upload it as an unlisted video before that. So when I clicked premiere, thinking I would be able to set up the premiere, it just went, okay, we're premiering. I'm like, oh, I don't get to pick a time or anything. You can't do that with an unlisted video. I was like, well, people are going to wake up tomorrow and there's going to be a wrestling match to watch, I guess. That's actually the first time we heard Jericho cut a promo on JWF, right? It may be, actually, because a lot of those audio clips, spoiler alert, weren't actually used on JWF videos. I just went back and found audio that fit the video I was doing and just, went from there. And yes, Bash, as you pointed out before, heavy 1997 HBK vibes. I was looking at some of his finer promos from that time. It's just a lot of him yelling, really, which is exactly what I needed, so it worked perfectly. Joseph Miga, what is the total amount of days HBK has been IC champ? Has it been like 7 years, or is JWF in its own years? I never really... It's definitely in its own timeline. I never really, say that, because if I were to say something like that, if you consider Collision, where it took me 2 years between match 2 and match 3, and yet it's all still in the same night somehow, figure that out. So I didn't bother trying to, actually assign a timeline to it. Just know that, he's been champion for a long time. NECA is making a Scott Ian figure. Yeah, he, I think he has it for sale on his website. They're also doing Megadeth figures too. They got the Vic Rattlehead with one of the newer albums. I forget exactly. But then they got the old Peace Sells one with the for sale sign, and I'm thinking I might actually have to buy that. I don't even care much for those retro style figures with the cloth like that, but I might actually have to go for that. That promo really shows you've improved over the years in smoothness and quality. Well, thank you, Kaimo Films. And after going back and watching some of those earlier videos I had, I was like, could have probably tightened that up a little bit, but it's what I was doing at the time, and that's how you improve. You're improving if you can go back and watch your old stuff and be like, would have done that differently today. But hey, thank you for saying that. Vic Rattlehead Peace Sells figure. Yeah, that's the one. What is the latest Mattel I bought? Rated the Collector. Oh, that Samoa Joe with the hands. I got that actually from Burnout Inc. I bought it off of him. It's a good figure. The face is much better on this. Since the 3D printed face or whatever it is, the face tech, whatever they're calling that. It looks awesome. It looks just like him compared to the older figure, which I didn't really think looked great. Mattel has always kind of suffered with their head facial recognition, the likenesses, in my opinion. So when they started doing this stuff, I was like, honestly, a lot of the figures look a lot better now. So big ups to Mattel. And I'm seeing that now with these Bret Hart figures coming out, that Bret actually looks like Bret, which is great. That time Dave Bautista tripped and fell getting into the ring at Mania, while HBK said, "Oh my God," on commentary. It was like Shockmaster. Oh, he was on commentary at that match? That would be awesome. Like, that's one I want to watch, actually. Even though I hear people say it wasn't great, but I think everything I read about, like, I should say everything I read from wrestling fans on the internet, I always kind of take with a grain of salt, because most of them hate wrestling. So, you know, I'll see what it is. I would pay to watch your animation. Well, thank you, but you don't have to. They're all free right here. If you want to pay in some way, just share the videos around. Get other people to watch them. Nick Ramirez. I can't wait till you finish X-Men. I've been waiting a long time. I know someday you will. Yeah, I would love to finish that series. I do plan on it. It's going to happen. I just, you know, as I've said before, I don't know when. Joseph Miga, the Ultimate Brett has the best heads on it, yet only problem I have with it is the hair in the face. HBK was mic'd up, said, "Oh my God." That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, even if you look at the old figure, and this is an old head sculpt, but it's just, you know, painted differently now. But yeah, they always have like that hair hanging in Brett's face. But the Ultimate one looks like, I don't know, the hair is a little bit worse in my opinion, hanging in the face. But it's an easy fix because you can just cut those few strands in the front, and then just his face will just be exposed, and you'll be fine. Which is probably what I plan on doing. Because I did that with a lot of my... I can't reach any of my Brett figures right now, but like he used to have like that really long strand of hair that hung almost like the whole way down his front of his face. But I cut it like so it's more like a really thin strand now. And I think it looks better. But, you know, that's just me. Let's see. Just got the Scouter Vegeta with a 2.0 body. It's a great figure. A little short and minimal shading, except on the dick area. That's the one I've said. It was on a some Between the Frames episode when I put him next to the first Scouter Vegeta. And I was like, they really did a much better job painting the earlier figures than they do in the current ones. But I do think the bodies on the newer ones are better and more posable. That said, the Scouter Vegeta is a nice figure, and I'm glad. He is short, but Vegeta's supposed to be short, so it works if you have other Dragon Ball figures. He's going to be the right size. Let's see. Anyone ever tell you that I resemble the Young Bucks? I am the old Buck. Yeah, the Young Bucks are indeed my two younger brothers. They're not. What else from this weekend's reveal am I planning to pick up? 1999 Big Show is one I'm looking forward to. I would love to see that when it's closer to being done, because I think they just had like the prototype, right? I did see there was like a basic series coming out that had like Attitude Era version of The Rock, and it looked like a brand new head sculpt. So I definitely want to get that, because an Attitude Era Rock with like the face printing technology that they got now, I gotta have that. And what else did they have? I don't know. I'm trying to remember anything that really stuck out. Like those Brett figures, that Rock. Yeah, nothing really stuck out to me that, no, at least not off the top of my head. This is the benefit of being a wrestling fan of wrestling from years ago, much more so than like today, because I only know like a few figures coming out that I have to set aside money for, so that saves me a lot, which is nice. And thought on the jacket it comes with, where you remove the arms and just slide it over. Are you talking about the Brett? I think it's a great idea, because let me show you something that's right off camera. I'll grab this. I know many of us have this figure, or if we don't have it, we at least remember it. But this is the, was it the first ringside Bret Hart? This one? And it's a good figure. I like it. But it had this jacket. And the first video I ever made where I talk about this figure, I complain about this jacket, because what are you going to do with this? It's just, it doesn't move. So for you to even enjoy the figure, you got to take the jacket off, and then you can actually, like, you know, mess with the figure. So this, nonsense to me. What they're doing with the Ultimate one, as you see, he's got the jacket that you kind of slide over and you can change the arms out. And look what you get to do. You get to move the arms. Like, they got elbow joints, they got like all the hand articulation you could want, and it's not going to be hindered by a big stupid rubber jacket. So I don't know. I think it's great. honestly, it might even come out looking better than the cloth jacket that like the Defining Moments had. So I'm willing to give it a shot. I thought it looked good on Ronda Rousey. I think it looks good on Brett, and you know, I'm waiting to see what happens, how it looks in person. There's an Elite Rock with the Just Bring It hand gesture. No. And yeah, Bash, those knee pads. When I used that figure for the holiday show, I think it was, I animated Brett and Daniel Bryan, and I took the knee pads off of the WrestleMania 10 Brett, the one that came out at the same time as the WrestleMania 14 Shawn, and those pads are much better. I meant to actually pick up another set of those pads just to use with that, but then I wasn't sure if I was going to sell that figure or if I was going to keep it or what. But long story short, yeah, those pads are terrible. CM Punk had them too, and every CM Punk figure I use, I had to change the pads out because, God. The way the torso in the Ultimate Edition is kind of disgusting with most of the men face. Are you talking about just the way it looks? I mean, the Storm Collectibles Hogan has the same kind of torso, and I don't think it looks that bad in person, so I'm waiting to see what these look like in person. But then again, the Storm Hogan figure is like, it's like a softer plastic, so they can get away with making it a little bit thinner. Like, it might look a little too bulky on the top and too thin in the middle. Like Ultimate Warrior, I think I remember kind of having that impression when I looked at it. Let's see. Thoughts on Undertaker's return on Raw? Didn't he just come beat up the Elias? Wasn't that it? I mean, if so, got him on the show. Made everybody in Madison Square Garden. Or it's not Madison Square Garden, I'm sorry. It was wherever they were at. Made everybody in New York City just quiet down for a little bit, which would have probably been nice at that point. It's kind of like an in-between the rubber ones and a cloth one. Oh, for the articulation? Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of stuff that they can do with the sculpting on the plastic arms and stuff, so they can still have all the articulation you're going to want. Brett can still hit his pose and, you know, move around freely in the jacket. And plus, you can actually detail the back, so they could probably have a cool, like, Hitman logo or something on the back. I'm not sure what his jacket looked like in '94 off the top of my head, but I do see they had, like, the tassels on the shoulders and everything, so... Anybody in here, by the way, remember, was it Ralph's Figure Gear? Because I had a really sick Bret Hart jacket for my Jax figures. It was like the gold tassels and like kind of like gold and pink stripes on the side. It was awesome. And it fit the Jax classic figures, but it's too big for the Mattels, so unfortunately I can't really use it much, but yeah, I dug it. Swig a beer for the working man. Kaimo Film says, when my friends and I talk DBZ, we always bash Yamcha. He's such a bad fighter. Gets his ass handed to him every fight. Yeah, Yamcha is like the jobber of the Dragon Ball universe. Bash. I bought something from Ralph's once. I can't remember what it was. I've gotten a couple of things. The thing that actually gets a lot of mileage from me is I bought the 1999 Rock tracksuit that he was wearing, like the black with the white stripes. I got it initially for the Jax figure, but it fits the Mattel Elite figure still pretty well, so I still use it on that. And it gets a lot of use from me, actually. It's quality stuff. Am I excited for Game of Thrones? I'm excited for the people who enjoy Game of Thrones to be able to watch it. It's not my thing, but you know, there's a lot of people that are into it, so I'm not going to deprive them of a good time. Bulak Bogles, okay, welcome back. We were just talking about the Ultimate Edition figures, actually. I'm going to get Brett. I'm probably going to get Ultimate Warrior if I see him, just because I'll want to mess with the figure just to see what it's like. But definitely going to get Brett. I'm not big on the Nakamura. I don't think that that's really I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. He's not a very exciting looking guy in the gear that they chose to make that figure. Like, I would have rather had them pick somebody with like a little bit more, I don't know, a little more interesting looking for the line. Ralph passed away a few years ago. I do remember that, but I thought they were still making like, I don't know who picked up, but I remember seeing like people were still able to buy stuff from his store, so I don't know. thoughts on Kurt Angle's career being over for now? I was going to say I hope he does like Shawn Michaels and it stays over, and then I remembered Shawn Michaels came back for that match. So I hope it stays over. Angle, he was great, and there's nobody that's going to question that, but he, well, he's been kind of on a decline for a while. Not really his fault, but, you know, he's got a lot of injuries racked up, and he continued wrestling through a ton of things that he probably shouldn't have wrestled with, like broken necks and discs and backs and all this crap. So, you know, just be healthy. Just sit in the sidelines. Be a manager on TV or general manager of Raw or whatever it was he was doing. Just take care of yourself, Kurt, please. I feel like Kurt will be like Flair and come back. That's definitely not what I want, but you might be right. He seems like the type of guy where you can't tell him, you can't convince him not to just stay in his chair to do what he's going to do for the rest of his life. He's got to get back in the ring, and he's got to roll around, and he's going to hurt himself. Let's see. Also, he's 50. Who? Angle? I'm not surprised. So let's see. What else did I get here? I don't know if I showed this, but I did pre-order the Mayfex Cyclops. This guy, straight 90s nostalgia, Jim Lee X-Men. I like it. I really think it's going to be an awesome figure. Comes with the unmasked head, as you see. Comes with a couple different blast effects that you can put onto his eye visor there. I like the Marvel Legends version a lot, but I mean, this one just looks like it's going to blow it out of the water. So, you know, worst case scenario, there's no harm in having two of these figures. Well, two Cyclops, not two of this exact identical figure. But yeah, I just like the effects. And you can see like the little smoke thing coming up out of his visor. Like, I don't know, pretty sick if you ask me. Big fan. Should they make an Ultimate Edition Kurt? That would be a good choice, actually. Because Kurt Angle had a lot of different gear that you could do in the Ultimate Edition line. Oh man, let me think. What would be my favorite? Probably my favorite figure of Kurt Angle ever. There was a Jax one that came out in the Titantron Live line. I can't remember if it was like series 10 or 12. It was the first one that had a plastic like molded singlet, because the other ones previous to it had like the cloth ones, and they were cool, but they kind of got a little baggy and they started looking weird. But this one was the first one with like a white plastic painted singlet with like the stars and everything, and on the back it had half red and half blue, and he had an angry face scan, and like they could get away with giving him like a bald head and a regular head with the hair and everything. You could even give him a third head that has that fake hair piece he had where he like had the wrestling headgear on it. That would be a good one, actually. They could do that. That would be a cool fit for the Ultimate line. And maybe give him like, I don't know, since they all come with gear of some kind, give him like his hoodie with like the articulated sleeves, so you can put the hoodie up with the hood and still have him be able to move his arms around. That could be cool. Cyclops looks sweet. Yeah, definitely. What did Gato Perro say up there? What did I think of the Mayfex Spider-Man comic book version? You think it was the Spider-Man to end all other Spider-Mans? From what I'm hearing, it's really, really good. I did not get one. I kind of kicked myself a little bit, but I know it would be one of those figures that, like, I wouldn't do much with it. Like, I like Spider-Man, and the figure looks like something I'd be able to mess with and really get a lot of, like, cool poses and everything out of, but I don't know. It looks good. I will give it that. That Kurt Angle idea you just cooked up is great. Well, thank you. Ultimate Edition 1998 Undertaker would be sweet. That would be good. Like every Mayfex figure, it'll get pushed back 3 months. Yeah, I mean, well, it says January of next year, so I'll probably have it by the summer of next year. See what happens. Cyclops looks out of this world. Yeah. Man, it's like the Legends one looks good. The one from like 2 years ago, I think. But this one just like nailed it perfectly. Ultimate American Badass Taker would be awesome with a trench coat. See, any Undertaker, you can now do that with the coat, where you can have him still be able to like move his arms, give him like articulated arms that you put into the body for the coat and everything. The one thing I'm wondering though, like how well is the arms going to pop in and out? Because the hands on the new figures, they work great, but they're much smaller and there's like not any weight to the hands, so it's not gonna like make it tougher to pose or anything. But like arms, like I'm hoping they're not too loose, because then you're just gonna put the arm up and it's gonna fall down again, and like I want to see, hopefully something good with that. What about Ultimate Edition Edge? Hated his finisher, but loved his character. Which finisher? You must be talking about the Educator, or the Execution, or the Downward Spiral, or the... Oh god, what else was it? Well, the Electric Chair Drop was always one of his moves in the video game. I know realistically you're probably just talking about the spear, but let's see. Bash says Ace Ventura, The Mask, or Dumb and Dumber. Ace Ventura is off the table. Not bad at all, but The Mask and Dumb and Dumber were two that I watched a ton as a kid. Wow, okay. I'm going to go Dumb and Dumber. And I know there have been some pretty fraudulent sequels that have come out for both of those movies. But, I just got to go with my gut. But you've also reminded me that I need to watch both of those movies again in the future at some point, because it's been a long time since I've seen them. Has there been a discussion on Endgame yet here? Not a huge discussion. We've talked about it from time to time, I think. Just kind of a little bit of speculation on what's going on. Space Case. Remember the Titantron Live Jax figures with molded jacket sleeves, and they looked awkward when he took the jacket off? Edge and Taker suffered from that. Yeah, the difference is, though, like, Edge and, like, those figures, you weren't meant to take the jacket off. So, like, yeah, you could take Edge's purple trench coat off, but then he would just have purple sleeves and no coat. Like, those figures were meant to be, like, just as they were. So if they came with a coat on, you were just keeping that coat on. I learned that from my first American Badass Undertaker, the Hall of Pain version. He just wrestled in his coat when I would make the matches with him, because I'm like, well, it doesn't come off. Or, I mean, it does, but then he's just going to have black coat sleeves, and it makes no sense. So he's just going to wrestle in his trench coat. Burnout Inc., what'd I miss? Oh, listen, not a ton. I replayed the same promo that I put on Instagram of Michaels and Jericho. Showed off this Bret Hart that I know we've all seen. Well, maybe not this one particularly. I just wanted to show the face on this one. Looks much better. I think it's the face printing that they're doing. But this Bret Hart, everybody's a big fan of this. I say everybody, but I'm just saying I'm a big fan. And there are some people in here too. And then we got this Cyclops that I pre-ordered. What I didn't show yet is what I got coming in the next week or two, hopefully. So, there you go. There's Beast Wars. Got Optimus Primal showing up. This is the Masterpiece version, I guess. And it's made to look just like the TV show. There's another version of this that looks more like the original toy. Like, so it's a darker black and a lighter gray on the figure. And it looks just like the original Hasbro figure. I prefer the cartoon version more, so that's what I went for. I figure, I got my eye on that stupid $300 Megatron, and I'm like, I need to know what I'm getting into, so let me buy the less expensive one first to see if I like it. And then what's going to happen is I'm probably going to like it and wind up buying stupid friggin' dinosaur Megatron. So I've really just kind of shot myself in the foot. But I can't wait till it gets here because I haven't messed with it. Do I think that the Avengers collide with the X-Men to beat Thanos? Not in the movie. No. The X-Men aren't showing up in this Avengers movie. It's too soon. A Mattel Epic Moment Brood 3-pack? Well overdue. Yeah, a Gangrel figure in general. But yeah, an old school Edge and a Christian with like the tuxedo puffy shirt and like kind of a serious head sculpt. I'd be into that. Bash, yeah, you got my back. I know you would. I couldn't find a bone crunching action Gangrel figure that wasn't absolutely filthy dirty. Yeah, like those bone crunching action figures, like a lot of them that you find, like they're like $2 for a reason. They didn't last long. They didn't hold up. Adam Flynn, what's up? I see you in here. Execution was badass. Joseph Miga. What about Jim Carrey as the Riddler? I wasn't a fan of Batman Forever. Well, I mean, I was as a kid, but now, nah. Predatorious Films. Did I see the Joker trailer? What did you think? I'm with it. I'm like actually a lot more excited about that movie than I thought I was ever going to be. I'm thinking like, how can they do a Joker movie and not make any mention of Batman? It doesn't seem like Batman's in the trailer at all. Like he's not maybe even a part of this story. And I'm like, I don't get it. How are they going to do it? And then I watched the trailer. I'm like, I don't even care if Batman's in this movie. I just want to see what goes on with this guy to turn him insane. Like when you first see him laughing in the trailer, it's like a fake, like silly laugh. But then you see him on the subway just like laughing completely, like maniacally, like he's just lost his mind. And I'm like, what happened in between that first scene and this that just broke this guy? I gotta know. That and it's Joaquin Phoenix and he can act his ass off. So I mean, like just October, right? October. Let's see. I'm trying to make my own special custom figures. Are you trying to do like particular characters, or are you just like inventing new ones and going for it? Kirk Holland, that Joker movie hits close to home. I'll be the only movie I see this year. See, I'm gonna definitely see more than that, but I didn't plan to. Like, I didn't think I was gonna care about the Joker movie, basically. But yeah, yeah. Let's see. Why do you think Gambit has never had a major role in X-Men? You talking about the movies? I don't really know. The way Fox did their X-Men movies, like it was very Wolverine-centric. And there was that one movie where Gambit was in it, that stupid Origins Wolverine movie. And nothing about that movie was very good, so maybe they just didn't want to use Gambit after that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that. I kind of wondered about that myself, to be honest. I wonder if the Joker was actually Johnny Cash before. My only fear is that they make Joker a stereotypical, sympathetic bad guy. I don't want that. He needs to be the worst of the worst, born a bad guy. I'm wondering if they're going to go with that. Like, it almost seems like they're going to show why he's, like, becoming a bad guy or something. So they may actually go the way you don't want. But at the same time, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe, like, all this stuff that he's doing is, like, repressing this urge to be just a completely evil, terrible human being. And we kind of watch him trying to distract himself from that. And then when he comes out of it again on the other side, he's like, you know what? Nah, we tried that. And that's not what's going to happen. Buko Bogles, what was better, the WWF Bret Hart or the WCW Bret Hart? Man, that's not even a comparison. WCW Bret Hart did virtually nothing, and WWF Bret Hart was amazing. Let's see. I hope the Joker movie isn't like Venom, where you totally forgot about it until it came out. It seems like they're going to hype this one. It seems like this one is something that there's a buzz about now. And plus, the last couple movies have been pretty well received, as I recall. Like, Shazam just came out, and people are saying that it's great. And before that, what was it, Aquaman? Which nobody expected to like, and there, lo and behold, everybody seemed to like it. So, those are two other movies I haven't seen, by the way, so I can't really comment on them. What I can comment, though, is that we're less than a month out from Avengers Endgame, and possibly even more importantly, less than a month out from that new Mortal Kombat. That's right. I saw they just announced Katana recently, which is good, and there's one or two new characters that have been announced that look like elder gods, so I'm on board. I'm 100% hype. Yeah. That time Buffer called him Bret Hitman Clark on live TV. Michael Buffer, what a tremendous waste of money that WCW just poured millions of dollars into year after year. I will never understand it. Leave a dog chain in the yard and throw it scraps. It won't be socialized. Then take that away and let it off the chain and starts biting everything. I'm wondering if that's going to be what they do with this movie, because like, it seems like he's going to be pretty like keeping to himself. I mean, you see him with his mom in the movie. Maybe she's like the only one that ever like has any social interaction with him. So when he goes out in the world, just bad stuff happens. Let's see, who will win? Godzilla versus King Kong versus Anaconda. Well, I don't know what this Anaconda is, and I'm not calling Nicki Minaj to find out. So, in that movie, upcoming, Godzilla vs. Kong, I predict some kind of a stalemate or some kind of like a something. I don't know. Like something where we don't get a clear answer. But this King of the Monsters movie coming out, though, in like another month and a half or 2 months or whatever it is, that's what I'm waiting for. Like, that's another one besides Avengers that I cannot wait for. It's going to be... I say it's going to be good. I'm just really hoping it's good. Because all the trailers I've seen have gotten me really hyped. Speaking of hype, Kaimo Films. I saw... was it your Walmarts didn't have any of the Godzilla figures? I haven't seen any at mine either, so I don't... I'm not 100% sure if they're just not out by me yet. But I want to get them because they have those little, like, building sets and, like, the planes and the tanks and stuff. I think that stuff looks cool, and I could definitely use that, but I haven't seen them yet. What did I think of the John Oliver WWE? He didn't really say anything that wrestling fans don't already know, and just they maybe just don't bring it up and don't talk about it because they're like, we're going to sweep that under the rug. If we're going to enjoy our wrestling, we can't think about the fact that these guys are basically servants to the WWE system. But I mean, it might have opened people's eyes outside of being a wrestling fan to see what's going on with like WWE, but at the same time, none of them are going to do anything about it. So it was interesting to watch, but probably nothing will happen with it. Gaston is my favorite bad guy because he starts the movie as a heel and ends the movie as a heel. Yeah, I could put like the Emperor from the Star Wars franchise in there too, because even like in the prequels, like he is just doing diabolical stuff up until the minute he dies in Return of the Jedi. Like he is just heel through and through. He manipulates everybody around him, and then finally he comes out, when he becomes the Emperor in Revenge of the Sith, he basically does the "It's me, Austin," and takes over the galaxy, and everybody just rolls with it until Darth Vader eventually kills him. Am I gonna go see the new Hellboy with Hopper in it? That's like this weekend that comes out, right? I give it a shot. I liked the older Hellboy movies. This one looks kind of like it might be similar to one of those. I don't know. I'm kind of a casual Hellboy fan, so I'm not going to be looking for anything specific in there. As long as I enjoy what I see, I'm on board. I'll be happy. WCW screwed up by not having Bret versus Jericho. Something JWF did. Listen, JWF, we're trend-setting. We're doing wonderful things here. At least hopefully people think so. But I've gotten a lot of good feedback on Undertaker and Sting. It got more views than I expected, because wrestling stuff usually, like, the first day it'll get like 1,000 views, and then it'll just like really, really slow down. But it's almost at like 3,000 now, which means people are either coming back and watching it again, or people like maybe the WrestleMania weekend hype, people are coming and like just finding it and watching it. So whatever the case, whatever the reason, I'm happy. People generally have left positive feedback too, so that's good. Let's see. Legendary said that Kong vs. Godzilla has a definite winner, and the only Jax King of the Monsters figure I was interested in were the mini battle packs. Even the T-Rex in Jurassic Park turned babyface at the end. Yeah. Oh, okay, so I'm wondering if they're going to give the win to Godzilla then, because Kong won their first fight, and Godzilla will win this new one like 40 or 50 years later, whatever it is, and then I don't know. They're going to have a rubber match, or are they going to just leave it 1-1? R.I.P. Glenn Webb. Yeah, I miss Glenn's videos. I liked them. I used to watch his reviews and stuff every night. He did something, if I can just speak on Glenn for a minute. He did something that a lot of these reviewers now on YouTube just don't do, and that is figure out how to make an entertaining review in like 5, 6, 7 minutes. If you look at some of these guys in it now, they're either making short videos that aren't really that entertaining or informative, or they're making videos that are very insightful and very they put their thought and mind into it, but it's just too long. I don't want to watch like a 30-minute figure review. That's just not, I don't know. That's just not for me. But Glenn managed to keep it short and sweet, and he was entertaining. So, he was really good at what he did, and, it's still sad that he's gone. Glenn did that by having fun. Yeah. DC making a movie Pennyworth? Is it a movie or is that like a TV show? Because I know it's something maybe tied in with Gotham. I recently saw something with Gotham where they showed a picture of the Joker and he just looks like an old, disheveled, like, scary somebody's uncle. Like, I don't know. I watched the first 2 episodes of Gotham. Didn't really hook me, so I haven't seen anything since. I don't know if it's good or not. Let's see. Joseph Miga, thoughts on Darth Vader's face turn at the end of Return of the Jedi? It had to happen. They've been saying in the entire franchise, like, oh, he's got good in him. He's really not all that bad. And then they needed that to happen for the movie to continue the way it did. Let's see. What else did I miss up above here? I did see, Michael Buffer, waste of money. Let's see. The only thing WCW did for Bret Hart was end his career. This poor guy. Like, Bret goes years and years without hurting anybody, and then just has his career ended by getting hurt from a guy that just kicks him in the head. Let's see. Bash gave up on Gotham because young Bruce Wayne was a terrible casting. Kid isn't a bad actor. He's just not a good young Bruce Wayne. It was like the first episode or the second episode when Alfred comes outside and yells at him because he's standing up on the roof of the Wayne Manor. Like, at that point, it kind of lost me. I'm like, I get it. The kid is meant to be conquering his fear and whatever, but, like, in the show's, like, continuity, like, his parents just got killed, like, that day or the day before or something. Like, he's not going to be out on the roof yet. Like, you've got time. He's not going to be Batman for 20 years. Like, you've got plenty of time to build that kind of thing going for him. Let's see. The new Joker movie is how you get Ledger's Joker. Just add some guerrilla training. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, you just basically throw a guy into society and be like, good luck, idiot. And that's how you get this guy, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Did I see the Dragon Ball Super movie? Not yet, but I do want to. Blue Bells 5529. That's a new name, I think. Do I think Bret Hart would have done better if he stayed with WWE? I don't really know. Not in the short term, probably, because they were obviously building to Austin being the guy. But let's say he stuck around. If Bret Hart, for some reason, was still in WWE by the time WrestleMania 14 came around, and everything goes on with Austin and Michaels the way it did, Michaels is gone. And if Michaels is gone, Bret's life in WWE probably becomes a lot easier. Granted, he would have had to sit there with 6 months of Michaels being the champion and not wrestling and all that, but I don't know. I mean, he could have gotten some great matches with Austin, and it would have been this time around. Austin would have probably beat him in those matches because Bret beat him the previous year at Survivor Series and Mania 13, or I guess a year and a half previous. But, yeah, who knows? He might have actually done better. Hellboy movie 1 was pretty good, I think. Yeah, I agree. I actually like 2 as well. I see Rotten Tomatoes has Hellboy at an 11%. I think they did the same thing with, like, something recent. I don't know if it was, like, Captain Marvel or if it was Aquaman. But I guess that's a thing people do now, is they go on these, like, fan review sites and just, like, blast a movie with terrible reviews, like, all at once, so that people don't see it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, people are dumb. Space Case. Kurt versus Bret in 2000, 2001 would be main event material. That's why it was my first, like, animated match. Like, I wanted, like, 95, 96 Bret against, like, 2001 Kurt. Like, that would have been a great match. Oh man, makes me smile just thinking about it. Brett versus Eddie would have been a masterpiece. That would have been really good too, actually. Yeah, that would have. I'm trying to think of anything I could like compare it to, because Brett wrestled a lot of these like flyer, like luchador type, maybe not necessarily luchador, but a lot of the higher flying guys, and like, you know, he's not the guy that's gonna have a bad match with people. Let's see. Bret Hart would have been at odds with Vince. Been mid-card, just making more money until those other guys are at the top. I mean, in a way, I would think it'd almost be like, who else would they push in those at that time? You know, because Michaels was gone. You got to remember, like, Austin's feud with Vince carried 98. Like, the actual feud between two wrestlers in 98 was The Rock and Triple H. And that was because of the Nation and DX. And then it eventually turned into The Rock and Triple H having that feud that went like months and months. But Vince and Austin, like, I mean, what was it? Like, Austin fought like Dude Love and then Undertaker. And then he lost the title, and then he was like just kind of involved with Undertaker and Kane, but not really fighting them. And then by the end of the year, he was back and forth with still Vince, but you know, going into next year's WrestleMania with The Rock. So like, you know, Austin didn't have a particularly great feud with a wrestler that year, but the Vince thing, you know, that carried the year and honestly made it great to watch. Let's see. Because of what Brie Larson said a few weeks before Captain Marvel came out, a ton of people made fan interest score and box office predictions. Gotcha. Okay, so that makes sense. They're just reacting to the actor then, not actually the movie. First Hellboy was good. I only watched the second Hellboy one time. I think I did as well, actually. I have the DVD out there that I'm going to have to revisit at some point. Even though I know it has nothing to do with the new movie, I'll still check it out. Pretty sure when Brett signed his contract in 96, it was for 5 years of wrestling and 15 as a backstage role. That would have given us Brett in the ring through 2001. Yeah, I mean, and to your point, Kirk, yeah, like, Austin was definitely going to be the star going forward after Mania 14. And Brett, you could have used Brett against guys like The Rock, or against guys like people that you wanted to build to that next level, but maybe just weren't there yet. Now, granted, The Rock and Triple H did that kind of by constantly fighting each other the whole way up. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, Brett, you know, who could he have really fought? You know, Mick Foley, I guess. Like, obviously Undertaker's still around. Kane is brand new. You know, put Brett against Triple H because the whole DX thing, or the Click and the Hearts and everything. I don't know. It's weird fantasy booking something that was never going to happen. I mean, hell, you keep Brett in there until 2001, like Bash says. You got Brett and Kurt in 2000. One of the things I actually wanted to see, and it's never been released, I don't think, but apparently when Kurt was, before he debuted, he would do like dark matches against Owen Hart. I would love to see that. That would be awesome. Brett versus Mankind. Yeah. What Storm collectible are you looking forward to? The Sagat looks great. Guile, Baraka, all those Mortal Kombat cyborgs, and Katana and Melina, like, all that. Yeah, definitely. Favorite non-Godzilla Toho Kaijo movie? Mine's Rodan 57 because it scared the hell out of me with the Beatles. After revisiting it a few years ago, it was super nostalgic. I don't know that I've ever seen a Toho Kaiju movie that was not Godzilla. Or any. Well, I mean, I tell a lie, because I've seen King Kong Escapes, but I don't know if I would ever put that as a favorite movie of mine under any circumstance. But, yeah, like, I'm not necessarily a Kaiju fan. I'm a big Godzilla fan. So, yeah, for the most part, if it's not Godzilla related, I probably haven't seen it. So yeah, that's a good question. And you said Toho, so I can't even say Gamera. Not that I've seen much Gamera anyway. Brett was willing to put people over. Something he doesn't get credit for. Oh yeah, Yeah, definitely. That's like he knew like when the time would have been right. Like I'm sure in '98, Brett would have had no problem with Austin beating him because he would have been able to recognize like, yeah, Austin got here for a reason, and like, you know, all the stuff, all the times that he had beaten Austin previously, he's like, right, well, now Austin's on the next level. It's time to let him do what he's got to do to continue to be on that, you know, stride towards the top. Let's see, Brett could have very easily had great matches with anyone in the mid card. Well, yeah, that's very true. Also, I mean, to be fair, Brett in '97 was, if he was not a mid card caliber wrestler, but he was on the mid card more often than not because Shawn wanted the top spot. So Brett was wrestling guys like the Patriot, or, you know, he'd have matches with Vader or Goldust or whoever on Raw, and that's, you know, that's what he did. Yeah, Bash says Bret Hart helped train that entire group of young talent in '98. Edge, Christian, Val Venus, Mark Henry. He could have worked with those guys. Plenty for him to do. Yeah, I'm with you. Space Boy King. We'll take one or two more and then call it a night. Have you ever watched JWS stop motion? The only guy at your level, but with the stop motion. You kill it with the storytelling in JW. Well, thank you. And yeah, I've seen a lot of Jordan's stuff. He's really good. And I'm, yeah, I see he's doing like a Royal Rumble, but he's like putting it up in installments. So like when he finishes that, I'm going to just watch them all in order because he is always very impressive. Val Venus was cool. Yeah. Kaimo Films. War of the Gargantuan, Frankenstein Conquers the World, Mothra. Any of those ring a bell? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of all of them. I've just maybe never seen any of them. Joseph Miga. We had to have a sharpshooter match between Brett and Rock. We do not need to see The Rock's sharpshooter ever. What was it? Brett and The Rock only had like one match, I think, on Raw. Well, Rocky Maivia. And it was like, I think The Rock won by count out because Brett just gave up and left the ring. Like, I don't remember. Kirk Allen. I feel like he deserved better than that, as well as better than he got. Well, I'm with you there. Like, I definitely... The point I'm making is, like, I think he would have still had a place, and he would have still... You know, he might have not been 100% happy with the way he was used, but he still would have had those moments of greatness. You could put him in a match with Austin in '98, and it would be great. You could put him in a match with Undertaker. It'd be amazing. You put him in there with Triple H and The Rock in '99, he's going to do awesome things. And then by 2000, you got Kurt Angle. So you can ride the rest of his career on that. Kaimo Films. How do wrestling stories work? I always thought it was just guys breaking their backs. Again, not a wrestling fan. It's tough to explain. I will direct you towards a video, though. Oh, God, what's this guy's name? Super Eye Patch Wolf, I think is his name. He has a video. It's just called Why Wrestling is Interesting, and it's basically meant to answer that question. So it's basically a video for people who don't necessarily get wrestling or aren't interested in it or whatever. It's like, this is just why people are interested in it. He's not going to try and change your mind and make you, you know, say you should watch it or anything like that, but it's just... I don't know. It's just progressive storytelling, and I'm not talking about like politically progressive or anything like that. I just mean like it's consistent storytelling. You're going to get advancement in your story every week if it's a good story, and it's going to eventually culminate with a big stakes match. And if you've told your story correctly, people are going to be interested in your match. So that's pretty much what it is. Bash Crash. Always booked Bret Hart and Undertaker as a tag team in my figure fed. Named them Team Heart and Soul based off SummerSlam 97 poster, which is my all-time favorite. Kaimo Films. Why Wrestling is Fascinating. I think that's the one. Yeah. So, you know, that can be your homework. You can let me know if you want to watch it, and if you did, let me know what you think of it. All right. With that said, my name has been Captain McKay, and thank you all once again for stopping by yet another exhilarating stream of the Captain's Log. We will be back here, same Vader time, same Captain channel next week. Meantime, keep an eye on my social medias, my Instagrams, my Facebooks, all that, for any updates I might have for when the main event of JWF Rite of Passage is coming out. I think it's going to be good. All right. Later on,